All right, it's a scorcher here in the Pacific Northwest, meaning it might be 85 degrees today, 80 degrees, something like that. So this is the beautiful summers that we have. It's super just temperate and nice, and that's the reward for suffering through all of the rain for the rest of the year. So the motorhome came with a AC unit from 40 years ago. It's still got the 40-year-old AC unit strapped to the roof or bolted to the roof. And I don't need it. It's where we go boondocking here when we camp on the Pacific Northwest. It's just not that hot. And also that the AC unit requires shore power, or you have to run the generator the whole time that you're running the AC unit. So it's not worth it. So I'm going to be taking that off in this episode. But first, I need to tackle some more of that aluminum, cover plate, shenanigans that we were doing last week. So last time I showed you just this side, and I thought it was just going to be a lather, rinse, and repeat deal for the driver's side one, but it didn't quite turn out that way. So let's talk about that. Last time we covered the installation of this trim piece with the gutters, with the rails here, and most of the places it's a nice tight fit right along this seam. I cannot get my fingernail or anything up under there. But in a couple of places, like right here, this is the problem area right above the door where it was all filled with dirt. So I can definitely get my fingernail under there. There's a big gap. And this causes me to doubt whether or not I used the butyl tape correctly here. And so I'm going to try something different on the other side over there just to see if I can find a better solution. I've got the butyl tape covering the lap joint from the roof over to the the corner bracket here. It's also covering the majority of the screw holes, so there's that groove underneath there, and it's covering that as well. However, we need to add a second piece up here. And in order to accomplish that, what I've done is I've gone through the roll and I've cut it in half, the whole length of that roll, the remainder. And yeah, I've precisely applied it to the trim piece itself. So now this can be installed. We can see that in a lot of places it did what it was supposed to do. We can see the butyl being squeezed out even, so that's a nice, good seal. Unfortunately, it didn't happen that way everywhere. Right through here, there's a gap, there's an air gap between the butyl and the roof. So that didn't cinch down tight enough either, which means, I don't want this butyl in there, so I'm going to have to remove all of this and match it to the other side so that they're both, that seam doesn't have any sealant. And then I'm going to come around here with some silicone or something else that you squeeze out of a tube. I would like it to be sandable and paintable so that we don't see it when the spray can just paint right over that rubbery sealant. Back here we can see I've got the end cap installed. That's the stock aluminum end cap, and you see that little bit of white there. I gotta clean that off so that we can paint over that. But that's just this stuff here. This Dicor formulated for motorhomes. What is this, 55-1 SL LSW? And so that's the stuff that they sold me at the RV place that was made for motorhomes. But I'm really wondering, after feeling it in my fingers, it feels the same as this stuff that we use for sealing windows and such when you're doing home construction. So I'm wondering if this cheaper stuff from the Home Depot is any worse. Like, it seems like it might be the same. So it's a big risk to take for a $5 difference in tube, but I don't know. For sealing that whole edge there, maybe I do want to get some of this Home Depot stuff that might be paintable, although we know this is paintable with latex paint, but what about the automotive paint? Can that stick to it? So questions, lots of questions. And on this side we can see the 3D printed geometry nicely installed. Okay, so here's this trim piece that I've removed from this section, and we've talked about this in previous videos. You can see the scars from my Dremel tool where I had to cut away this Rivnut. That's a rivet nut embedded in the SMC fiberglass here, and it had the shank of the bolt broken off inside of it, so there was no salvaging the rivet nut itself. And this is one of 4 of these aluminum cover plates that are not integrated into the frame. So down here, this aluminum is permanent. That's mounting this piece of aluminum to this SMC, and so that does not come off the motorhome without disassembling the whole thing. But this piece, and this piece all come off, and I think I might try to paint the rig with those off. And you can see that all of these have broken, damaged bolt heads stuck in the rivnuts. So I need to cut these rivnuts off with my Dremel tool, which means that I will no longer have the ability to mount a screw there unless I somehow come up with a replacement way of mounting threads into the fiberglass. And I don't see any good reason to reinvent the wheel. So here is my bag of rivnuts. So that's going to go right in there like so. And then this is my rivnut installation tool. Instruction manual, blah, blah, blah. But basically, it functions just like a normal pop rivet gun, pop rivet hand tool. All right, first try. Let's see how this works. Hey, that's pretty good. Yeah, so the aluminum trim here is installed on both sides, front to back. That means this door piece here and also the trim piece back there, completely done. So these are nicely sanded, stripped of paint so that we can adhere the new paint to them. I filled in all of the screw holes that were left from there's like a rubber that was screwed here when we first got the motorhome. And yeah, I'm not going to be reinstalling that rubber. So I filled these holes with a little of that body filler. And I think I might paint this trim black or some other color after the whole motorhome is painted. But I'm not going to put that rubber strip back over the top of it. It's pretty clean the way it looks, so I kind of like it. And just like up on top, I need to run a bead of some sort of a sealant. There is this rubber sealant left over from 40 years ago. I've cleaned it up a little bit, and I'd like to run a new bead there just to keep water from ingressing into the motorhome here at this seam. Yeah, are you helping Dada with the bus? Yes. Measuring, and then what? Is that sand in that bucket?
No, it's a red paint.
It's red paint. Let me see you paint the bus then. Awesome. Good job, kiddo. Everywhere I go, there's something else that needs to be replaced. See these cracks? Yeah, that whole louver is going to have to go. So there's a decision that I need to make right now, and that is whether or not I'm going to keep these specific GMC, nameplate letters here. I kind of like the look of the motorhome when it's debadged like that. It's clean. It is clean. And these letters are, well, they've seen better days. They're going to need some serious rejuvenation. So that's a project in and of itself. So if I get other newer letters, I might be able to like 3D print them or order something on eBay or something and then retrofit it. Different font probably than this, but I could double-sided tape those emblems on top. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to leave this thing debadged for now, and if I really want to put some emblem on it, I will I'll do some newer version, which does not have need the through hole. So I'm going to patch all of these holes up, and that way they'll be smooth and you'll never even see them once it's been painted. Those holes have been patched, ready for final sanding, and if I open up the lid here, we can see what they look like where the shmoo kind of poked through the holes and came through the backside there. The rest of the Bondo work is also complete, ready for final sanding on all of these patches as well. Well, this giant box came in the mail today from McMaster-Carr. Inside we have a sheet of aluminum. And what are we going to do with this? We're going to plug up the large hole that's left after I remove and discard this AC unit. Let's stick them through. That'll come right out. The cover here, this disintegrating plastic cover, is held on with these rivets, like right here. So I'm going to drill all these rivets out, get the plastic cover off, and then I'll be able to just grab it by the like metal portions, the real, you know, solid internal structure in there. And when I'm able to do that, I'm going to pick it up, walk down the roof here, and get it onto these 2x4s. Got the top off. And here's the lower section. 85 pounds. Yeah, this is going to be a challenge. It's now 95 degrees in the shade, so about 10 degrees hotter than we thought it was going to be. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to stand into this like so. I can just pick it up. And when I'm under there, this rope is attached to the 2x4. My wife is going to grab this and pull it in that direction. The end of the 2x4 here is going to hit the table on its way a ways away from here. So it can just fall and make a big noise, but nothing's going to break. And at that point in time, I'm going to have the thing balanced just like this. I'm going to drop straight down and plop it onto the table just like so. That's the plan. Let's see if it works. When?
Got it down.
Okay.
Now what? Should I move the other board?
No, you should.
You got it. I got it. I'm away.
Yep, it's about like a sack of concrete, but a little less dead weight, so it's a little easier than a sack of concrete. All right, so this aluminum, same thickness as what I'm feeling here. So I matched the, the gauge of aluminum perfectly with the roof as it already exists. And you can see I've got my holes punched, located, ready to pre-drill them. So I'm gonna head back down off the roof here and pre-drill these holes, just because it'll be easier to do on the drill press. But after they're pre-drilled, I will be able to line them up with these pencil lines here on the roof, and I'll drill through the both sheets, both this and the underlying sheet, with a 3/8 inch drill bit, which is what that is, or 3/16, excuse me. And yeah, this is a blind rivet, so not only that, it has a steel shank, which means that it takes a lot of force for that steel shank to break, so that really gets smushed into the hole. And the blind rivet means that it's got a sealed end cap here, so that's basically a cup, and yeah, that means that it can't leak down the middle, down through the shaft. It can only leak at the edges here, but those are the edges that are expanded into the other aluminum. So chances of this letting any water through are very slim. And then to pinch the whole thing down, I will have this butyl tape as my sealant. These rivets are beyond my ability to squeeze by hand with this hand rivet tool. I literally do not have the strength. But if I put this 2x4 block underneath the handle, it's spaced off correctly, and I can just lean all my body weight onto it and get them to pop. Ooh. And I can even stand on it. Well, the motorhome looks a lot more sleek, aerodynamic, without a big, bulky air conditioning unit up there. The new units, if I put one on there, will be a lot, lower profile. So I might even take those the rails off. We'll see. Got some planning to do. So I dropped the nasty old AC unit off at an approved recycling plant, and what they can do is safely dispose of the ozone-killing gas. The refrigerant is very poisonous to the atmosphere. So be an adult if you have an AC unit to get rid of, and make sure you dispose of it properly. Well, that'll do it for this video. Tune in next time. We're going to take this piece of trim, this whole trim cap piece here off, as well as these two dashboard pieces on the sides. We have to do stuff to the outside, which requires access from the inside. So we're finishing up for painting, but that means we got to do that. So lots and lots of work to come, but it's all interesting. Every little job is a challenge in ways that I can't predict when I'm going to bust into it. So, yeah, we're getting there. Soon enough, it'll be ready for paint. So, see you next time. Thanks for watching.